Hey everyone, welcome back to GL Spinners. Today I'm bringing you a new type of video. It's one I haven't done before, but we're taking a look at my top 5 current spinners. And I consider this to be an unbiased top 5, and what I mean by that is that I purchased all these spinners on my own. None of them were given to me, and I paid exactly what you would pay. Also, I don't have a vested interest in any of these spinners. What I mean by that is, if you purchase these, I'm not going to make any money off of it. I don't run my own store. I'm not trying to sell them to you. This is simply what I consider the top 5 out of my collection that I think are the best. So I selected a couple of criteria to help me put together this list. And first off is going to be the design of the spinner. So it's not just how it looks, but also how it feels. These things are in our hands all the time, so if it doesn't feel good, it's not a good spinner. Another thing I look at is the value. And metal spinners range in price from $14, $10, all the way up to hundreds of dollars. What I mean by that is, just because a spinner is expensive doesn't mean it's the best. There are a couple on my list that one of them's under $30. So lastly, what I consider is spin quality. And that includes not just how smooth the spin is, but also what kind of feedback you feel from it. I also look at spin time. Some people don't care about that, but it is something that I think is a factor. So the one on the screen here is not in my top 10, but I'm showing it off because I just got it in. This is from Brass Monkey Spinners, which is a seller on Etsy from the UK, and this is their hammered brass version, and I think it's an awesome piece. I think that it really makes that brass look cool. It's a bar spinner, and it does have a 608 bearing, but I'm gonna kind of change that a little bit in a future video, so I'll feature it and you'll definitely be seeing this one again. So let's get to the list and actually take a look at the 5 that I've picked. The first one we're going to look at, and remember these are in no particular order, is the X in black from Spinetic Spinners. So this one's kind of unique in the fact that there really aren't that many quad arm spinners out there. Spinetic did a really good job with the X, and I feel like they've almost perfected it. The X is very well balanced. It gives nice consistent spins, and on table spins it'll average plus 3 minutes. This one's big on value. This one, the X version, comes in at $42. They do have other versions that are cheaper. You've got copper, brass, and stainless steel, but I specifically picked the X not only for the looks, but also for the feel. One drawback to Spinetics is that their arms aren't as rounded as a lot of other spinners. You can see that they're not sharp, but they're just not rounded. So the black coating on the X really helps with this. It softens all the edges and makes everything feel better when you're fidgeting with it. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Spinetic spinners, and I think this is one of the best ones they produce. You can see their buttons, they're concave, and they have their logo on them. It's a little textured, it's not engraved, but everything combines to make a pretty good grip. One of the other big things about Spinetic spinners is they've got a threaded bearing lock, which makes for easy removal, replacement of the bearing, and also maintenance. I consider the X black to be a must own. Because it is such a good value, I would definitely pick one up. I'll have the link to my full review of it down below, and also the link to purchase it if you're interested in it. So check them out. Next up on the list, we're taking a look at the Tri-Mini Falcon in titanium. So this is one that I just recently got, but I was very impressed with it. It's the only titanium spinner I own, and it feels great. Flyaway Toys did a great job on it, and it's what I would consider their first true tri-arm spinner. They did a great job on it. It uses their standard buttons, which are stainless steel, but they're recessed, not concave. They've got their logo engraved on it and a really nice raised edge around the rim. All of that combined makes for a great grip. So this was based off their popular Mini Falcon, and you can see it uses the same arm, but when they put it in this tri-arm configuration, it makes a great finger groove. And what I mean by that is it gives you a great spot to flick it. You can get great one-handed flicks with this thing just because you've got a great spot in between the arms. So Flyaway Toys is really an engineering / machining company, and it shows. All the edges are rounded nicely, everything's smooth on it. The buttons are kind of thick, but it doesn't bother me, and I'm just a huge fan of this thing. It feels good in hand, but one drawback is going to be the bearing itself. There's no bearing lock, it's actually just fit in place with Loctite, which makes it difficult to remove or replace. But with that being said, I've never had any issues with any of their bearings. I simply hit them with some canned air if they get dust in it, and that solves the problem. So they now offer this one in stainless steel as well, but I would recommend the titanium version myself. This one does come in at $99, but the titanium is the reason for the price jump, and I'll have a link down in the description below if you'd like to purchase it. So definitely check them out from Flyaway Toys. The next one on the list is probably the most controversial pick, I think, and it's the Valkyrie from Alphabot Industries. What makes this controversial is that this spinner got a lot of love from reviewers when it was released. A lot of people got it early and did reviews, and were super excited about it. Since then, I've seen a lot of reviewers dislike it, but to be honest, this is my favorite bar spinner that I own. I think that for a first entry into the spinner world, it's a really good spinner. It is big, it's heavy, it's stainless steel, but it has a super long spin at 8 minutes. It does have bar spinner wobble, and it is more pronounced on the Valkyrie than a lot of other ones, but when you hold it horizontally or perfectly still, it vanishes in your hand. You almost can't feel it. And that's because they have a really great bearing in it. I don't know who makes it, but they actually give you an extra one when you purchase it. I took it out, put it in a different spinner, and my spin time doubled. I went from about 2.5 minutes in that spinner to now almost 5. I like the design of the spinner. Everything seems to be rounded off on mine really smooth, and to be honest, it feels good in my hand. Some people have noted that on theirs they had machining defects, but I honestly couldn't find any on mine. And it's just really nice and rounded. No hot spots, flicks nice. You can see they've got an interesting design on one side of the button and then their logo on the other side. And their buttons are good too. They're large, recessed with the raised edge, similar to the Flyaway Toys, and they give a good grip. Value-wise, this is still under $50, so again, it's a nice price for a good metal spinner. I haven't posted my final review on it yet, but when I do, it'll obviously be a positive one. Right now, they're currently out of stock. They're going to release a new batch soon, and they're actually working on different designs, so I'll link to Alphabot's website below. Definitely check out the Valkyrie. So next up is the Zentry from Fidget HQ. This, even though it's not in particular order, is one of my top ones, and it's consistently in my pocket. I usually carry 2 spinners because I'm typically reviewing one, and then I just carry another one that I always like. this one rides shotgun a lot. It might also be the best value on the list because it comes in at $26. When other people try this one out, they're surprised by the weight of it. Despite it being so compact, it feels really dense, and that's nice. It feels quality, not cheap. So this version's the black, and the coating on it has held up nicely. It's usually in my pocket with my keys, and to be honest, I haven't seen any dents or scratches on it. And like the Spinetic, with that coating on it, no hot spots, everything feels great in hand. It's really easy to fidget with. I'm a fan of it. When I did my review on it, I referred to the design as stealthy, and I still think that's the best way to describe it. One of the big selling points on it is that if you are a professional that, wears a suit every day to work, I feel like you can have the spinner on you. Pull it out of your pocket, and there's a good chance that no one's going to notice or care. It's got a nice smooth spin, and on table spins, mine gets between 3 and 4 minutes. So, pretty good there. Looking at it, the buttons aren't anything to write home about, but they are concave and still give a decent grip. They're threaded, and underneath, another thing that they employ is that nice threaded bearing lock. So you can easily maintain, replace the bearing if you need to. I'm always a fan of that. So this, like the X Black, I would consider another must own. It's such a good value. You can check out my review video on it, and I'll also have down in the description a link to Fidget HQ if you'd like to purchase it. So definitely check it out. The Zentry is a really nice spinner. So last but not least, I consider this one kind of the peacock of the group. This one is the Maelstrom by Flyaway Toys. This is large and unique. It's what I would consider a head turner. It is expensive at $120, but I really do feel it's worth every penny of it. It's got a brass frame, stainless steel buttons, and the stainless steel ring. And if you don't know how they actually put it together, check out my review on it. There's a really interesting way they actually make this ring fit in it. So by peacock, what I mean is this is probably the most unique spinner I own. I haven't really seen any other spinners look like this. I don't even know if they're making clones of it yet. It's a great design, but it really doesn't fit into any specific category. It's got a nice smooth spin. Table spins on it get 5 minutes plus, which is impressive. And this one honestly is hard to not look at. When I'm playing with this one, I'm distracted because I'm constantly watching it when I flick it. You can see it's got the same buttons that Flyaway uses on the majority of its other spinners. The stainless steel recessed with their engraved logo. And no matter which way you hold this thing, you get a different look. It's machined to a T like the other Flyaway toys that I have. And it's hard to pick up on video, but it's even got machining that kind of gives it a swirl or storm effect when you spin it. So like I said, it's hard to ignore this one. They have this also available in a mini version if you don't like larger spinners. They've also got it in a blasted finish if you're not a fan of the polished look. And then they now also offer it in titanium. Overall, I'm a fan of the Maelstrom. It's really kind of got that wow factor to it. And I'll have a link down in the description below if you'd like to check it out. So that's my top 5. Let me know what you think about it. Are any of yours the same as on my list? Are there any that I ignored that you think I should have on here? Let me know. If you got any questions, put them down in the comments below as always. If you like the video, be sure and give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more spinner reviews, definitely hit that subscribe button. As always, Thanks for watching, and have a good one.